It's Binjang 91.5. You're listening to Tony Graham. And now it's time for Tech Talk with Mathew Dickerson. Good afternoon, Mathew.
Good afternoon, Tony. Good to be chatting to you again today.
It really is. I've got a really interesting topic first up. Bit of a carry-on from this morning, actually. The newest Roomba is finally smart enough to avoid pet poop. So are they calling this the Roomba poop, maybe? What do they use, smell sensors, or what's the go with this?
Yeah, it's that old thing we talk about so often, Tony, artificial intelligence, machine learning. This is all built into the new iRobot. And I've got a couple of these iRobots or Roombas, and they're fantastic. They vacuum the floor and they do a fantastic job. I've been lucky enough, though, Tony, never to have experienced poop-tastrophe, but I've seen some videos of people that have actually had that occur in their homes where their pets managed to leave a little poop somewhere in the house and Roomba comes along, happily cleaning everything up. And what does it do with some feces? It smears that all over as there's a couple of different actions there, a couple of little spinning wheels, spread that around, and they do a really nice job of turning something that was nice and small and compact into something spread out around maybe a whole floor, a whole room. So the new Roomba J7 Plus has a guarantee, Tony, a guarantee from the manufacturer, from Roomba, that says that this will not go straight over the top of any solid pet waste. It will recognise it, it will stop, it will go around it, and if it's not sure, it will actually stop and send a photo to the app on your phone to say, is this poo? Should I avoid it? Or is this just rubbish and I should go over the top of it and clean it up? And then it will basically learn from that. So the next time it sees that same image, it will go for it. The chairman of iRobot said that they never had so much fun with Play-Doh because they were making all sorts of different shapes and sizes of simulated poo to get the iRobot to learn what was poo and what was just normal for them to be able to go over the top of. So it's getting better. It's getting better all the time, Tony. We're not quite there yet where we can have our house fully cleaned and let everything take care of itself. But just this part here where you can have a Roomba go through a couple of rooms or a section of your house and be confident that you won't have feces spread everywhere, we're getting there slowly but surely.
Well, I guess the last thing you want is a Roomba landing right in it. Now, they do call it they have their poop promise. It's the pet owner official promise. I love that.
That's right. It's the official promise that it will not. They promise. It's not like some companies that say, we'll do our best and it should be okay. As you said, they've got the poop promise, which is quite clever, to make sure that you've got confidence in the iRobot, in buying it, even if you've got pets in the home. For people without pets, not a big issue. They've probably been using Roombas. And for most people with pets, they've probably got them house-trained. But every now and again, doesn't matter how well house-trained your pets are, every now and again they just forget to go outside before they go to the toilet, and that's it. You've got something to clean up.
All right, enough of that, whatever it is. Most people would see that Australia is lagging behind the rest of the world in pushing electric vehicle sales, depending on your point of view, I guess. And the data supports that with only 0.8% of new car sales. But Mitsubishi says hybrids are being penalised. So they're two different things, aren't they?
They are, and this is the first time, Tony, that I've seen anyone complaining that our electric vehicle subsidies are too generous, and this is exactly what Mitsubishi's claiming. Now, let me just put a little asterisk beside this, just to let everyone know, Mitsubishi does not have any electric vehicles for sale in Australia. Surprise, surprise, they have some hybrid vehicles. And I've actually owned a Mitsubishi PHEV, the Outlander, and it was quite a nice vehicle and it did the job, but I must admit this was probably 8 or 9 years ago I had that vehicle. And it's a plug-in hybrid that allows you to drive for a certain distance and a certain range on the battery before the petrol engine will kick in. So it's a hybrid. But Mitsubishi's saying that the subsidies that are available are only available, and some of them aren't even available yet, some states don't even have them available yet, but they're only available for electric-only vehicles, surprisingly enough. Therefore, electric vehicles to generate more sales in the electric vehicle space and to progress that whole market forward. Mitsubishi says, well, hold on, hybrids are a good solution as well. They can reduce the carbon emissions we have in this nation. They're part of our net zero target going forward. So we shouldn't be just targeting EVs. We should be giving subsidies for hybrid as well, which personally I wouldn't agree with. If you're going to have electric vehicle subsidies, let's make it on electric vehicles. One point they do have, which I think is quite relevant, is that they're not given the subsidies, but in the new per kilometre fuel tax that some states are introducing or have already introduced, a lot of those taxes actually include hybrid vehicles for the per kilometre fuel tax, but don't actually give you the subsidy in the first place. So I think they've got a relevant point there. Either we're part of the electric vehicle movement or we're not. At this stage, Mitsubishi says, you've got us halfway. You're not giving us the subsidies, but you're charging us like an electric vehicle. So just give us the subsidies and we'll be happy with that. Now, again, that's their point of view because that's what they sell. But it is interesting. There's manufacturers now sticking their nose in, getting involved in the politics of what's happening here in Australia, which is great because that might just generate more discussion in the community, and politicians might finally start getting to that point where they say, we need to move this whole market forward a bit.
Yes, and I noticed too that the sales of EVs have gone up dramatically after a shipload of Teslas hit the shores very recently and basically overtook the market as far as sales go too. Obviously, there's a bit of a shortage of these EVs, and with the battery prices, I think it's a disincentive price-wise for people to be buying EVs just at the moment, but that's all destined to change, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because technology with batteries is moving at an astounding rate right now.
Absolutely.
Now there's a bit of an important announcement about iPhones in relation to the operating system 14.8. They're wanting people to stop and update their phones immediately. So what's happening there, Mathew?
Yeah, this is a very unusual announcement from Apple. The next range of iPhones will be announced tomorrow morning, 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'll be up watching it, making sure I can report all on that information for your listeners next week. So normally you wouldn't expect the day before a major update for a new iOS to come out. But Pegasus Spy software, which we have talked about in the past, has got the ability on the current versions, on all previous versions before 14.8 of an Apple iPhone, to do what's called a zero-click install. So most of the time when you get caught by some sort of scammer or some spyware or malware, you've got to click on something. There'll be a link to click on. There'll be some message you'll get that you'll actually click on your phone, and that will infect your phone. Pegasus Spyware is designed to try and have zero-click installs. Now, they haven't had much luck on Apple phones in the past, but they've now found a vulnerability. So just by someone sending you a message on certain apps, just them sending you the message, you don't need to do anything to the message. You don't need to respond to it. Don't need to open it. That can be enough for you to actually be infected. Now, there's a group called Citizen Lab, which is basically, as the name suggests, a group of citizens that try and find these sort of vulnerabilities, and they've been the one who have found that, reported it through to Apple, and Apple have released, almost a little bit embarrassingly, this latest security update the day before a major announcement for physical updates of their phones. So if you've got an Apple, any Apple device, a watch, a phone, an iPad, then the advice here is update straight away, or you may find yourself with some Pegasus spyware on your phone.
Well, it's just getting worse, isn't it? Overall, there's problems with spyware and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're listening to Tech Talk with Mathew Dickerson on Binjang 91.5, and that wraps up today's program until next week, next Tuesday, and it's back to all the great music and information on Binjang 91.5.
Thanks, Tony.